What's up, Bubs? Can you hear me, buddy? Hello, hello. I'll take that as a yes. Hey, Crafty. Y'all, give me just a minute or two. I want to go, refresh my coffee cup. I'll be right back. Good morning, oppositional. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Saturday. It's a beautiful day. Now the dog wants out. Six bang. Okay. My goodness. Jessica S. Crafty Cat. Bubs. Oppositional. Ooh, what's happening? My system is refreshing or something. Voodoo's not here. She is out going and getting stuff done. You know, like womanly beauty stuff, things like that. Yay! Robert, how you doing, man? Okay, so for those of you who may have listened last night on Flying Monkeys near the beginning, I was screwing up her stream really bad because, like, mic issues and software issues on my end, trying to play some sound effects and shit. And I think I got it fixed, hopefully. Because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You know what I mean? There's people that know what they're doing. I am not one of those people. But after we got offline last night, oh, let me stretch. Hang on. My God. Oh, fuck. Hey, Sugar Crits. Our little buddy, our little fake cop buddy. Actually, he's not my buddy. He's a lying piece of shit. But he did a little, he said it was going to be a quick video. It's actually like 40 fucking minutes of nothing but you can't even call what he's claiming to be excuses for his stance and his behavior. It's just word salad. I've always hated that term, word salad. I prefer gibberish. But for whatever reason, psychologists don't. I guess it needed to be like it needed a political correctness to it or something, so they stopped calling it gibberish or bullshit and started calling it word salad because that made people feel better about spouting gibberish, I guess. I don't know. And I thought I might review it, but then I thought, you know what? The people that come into my stream may be sick of that fucking retard. I don't know. What do you guys think? Tonic, I don't necessarily think I would disagree with you. So, listen, I got this whole thing about Asperger's, the pronunciation of this condition that's supposed to be medically professional and all of that. I'm sorry. You know how like there'll be like a team, a think tank, if you will, that will sit around a table and they'll have their little glasses, their very thin wired glasses, and their gray hair and half balding, and they're sitting upright, and they've got their white coats and their pens and their whatever, and they're sitting around and they're going, I don't know, we're going to call this disease Lou Gehrig's disease. And they said, we're going to call this disease, well, how do you pronounce his last name? I believe it is pronounced Asperger's. Well, let's pronounce it. I mean, where was the guy or the gal that sat there and go, Asperger's sounds horrible because it sounds like ass and burgers? Because the P is goddamn near silent, right? So it almost comes off as burr, not purr. Nobody goes Asperger's because that sounds dumb too, right? They go Asperger's. Asperger's. Yes. But American food, whatever, between two buns, that sounds perfect. Let's call it Asperger's. Voodoo's not here to tell me to shut the fuck up. So that's either bad for me or bad for y'all. But I think it's totally fucking ridiculous. It should be Asperger's, or they should have fucking come up with some other term. Not fucking Asperger's. I could be wrong about this, and I will say if I'm wrong, but is it or is it not true that both hamburgers, asses, and that disease all existed at the same fucking time, and all of those words were probably a part of the American dialect and lexicon at the time? If so, then I say that's the worst thing they could have done, was call it Asperger's. But if I'm wrong, I'll digress and shut the fuck up like the retard that I am and just be an insensitive dick, and I just won't say. I'll just say on the spectrum or something like that. Anyways, oh, that was just a bunch of fucking gibberish, word salad, if you will. Tonic, Lady Witch, hello. Whoa, Lisa, hello. It's good to find have you here, because we miss each other all the time. Miss Joe, hello. Beach, hello. I'm trying to see who all's here. Anyways, but yeah, you know, just nothing but excuses. A bunch of bullshit from Abe. And then he tries to say that, people better watch out on their channels because, saying words like pedophile and child predator and stuff, that'll get the YouTube algorithm to, yeah. What about actually defending them and standing up for them when you know that that's what they are? And wrangling in other innocent people to talk to them and interact with them, especially when you know what they are and what they've done. What about that there, Abe? Does that doesn't matter to you? You got upset about Monkey bringing up the children and the victims, and then in your very stream, you turn around and just go, fuck the victims. This is about us and Lady Di. God damn. That guy is something else, man. I don't know. What a twat he actually is. Yeah, and like I was saying last night, there's a few people that apparently have known of this guy and known of him for years or whatever. I didn't believe when I first, well, not when I first heard him, when I first ever even heard of this guy was I don't remember the exact story, but it was back maybe like spring of last year. He somehow ended up on Tyrant Bird's radar in some form or fashion or another. That was the first time I'd ever heard the guy. And whatever the fuck he was jumbling around and saying on that in particular stream with Bird was, to me, it was just a big fat fishing expedition on the part of Abe. And he kept using this excuse that he had been gone for 2 years, so he wasn't sure about this and he wasn't sure about that. And it was all about this other guy, Salty Rant, and We the People Tyrant Wars. And ever since then, at least in this community, I guess, it's just gotten worse and worse and worse for him. But he's done it to himself. People say stolen valor, fake cop. Apparently he's got a lengthy criminal record, which I don't, a criminal record is one thing. There's lots of people that have criminal records that don't lie about it. And the community kind of picks and chooses which people with criminal records they want to keep around and which ones they don't. It seems pretty simple to me, as long as you're not a pedo or a rapist of some sort or whatever, then people pretty much are pretty understanding and don't shun anything than the worst of the worst types of behavior. And this guy Abe seems to not mind that kind of stuff and prop those people up. And he won't even, in my opinion, he won't even defend himself on it, whether or not it's a denial or whether it's a confirmation of what what he puts out there and the way he acts, he just shuts down, like as if there's some secret that we're all supposed to know and be like, oh, don't talk to Abe about that because there's a bigger plan at play here. No, he's just a fucking sick retard. I mean, that's basically it, and he's mad because that's the perception of him. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's the way it looks to me. He says logarithm. Well, maybe he gets it mixed up because of all the logs he has to clean out of Lady Di's diapers. He gets a little rhythm going, so he calls it a logarithm. I don't know. I really don't. That was a terrible crack, but crack. Where's my coffee? Okay. Speaking of which, real quick. I lost my mouse. Oh, there it is. All right. Now, I want to just try a little experiment here for just a minute. I want to see if any of these sound effects cause the same bullshit that they were causing last night. I don't think they will. But just tell me whatever it is in the chat, whether it's good, if it's cutting out, if it's overmodulating, if it's blah, 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 whatever it is. And please don't fuck with me. I mean, fuck with me later. Okay, great, well, I'll be able to maybe tell. I don't know. We'll see. Here's a buzzer. Here's the super buzzer.
Beta! I mean, I'm barely paying attention.
I like that one. Here.
And ladies, you shouldn't be cussing either. It's only men are allowed to cuss. Because it's manly authority word.
Right.
Get to the chopper!
Okay. Let me let the dog in, and then I'll see what people are saying. Come on, baby. Come on. It's time for you to get your nap. There you go. I don't know why she's all excited and awake right now. I fed her chicken for breakfast. Maybe she's gonna go lay down and take her nap. I'm praying that's what happens. Thank you, Jessica. I figured it was probably going to be pretty close to sounding okay because I've been live in a secret super duper. You hear that, Abe? A secret super duper live with me, myself, and I. I didn't invite anybody on 14 and a half different devices listening 12 different ways. On different internet service ISPs and IPs and IC3s and hazmats and fire code 10.4s, Morse code, the matrix code, all of that stuff, sirens and lights. Oh my God, I need to get some sirens. I need sirens. I don't have any. That sucks. Oops, I didn't mean to push that. NAACPs, PETA, NAACP, AARP. God, what else is there? AAA, double A's. 9-volt DC, ACDC, Americans, ADA, USDA, the FDA, the FTC, CPA, NBA, NBA, the NFL. Yeah, all the different bands. You know, like the Led Zeppelins and the fuck, I don't know, Heart or something. Boston. Ugh, I hate Boston. Oh, and okay, yeah, a donkey. Yeah, yeah, a dog. I need a donkey. I could probably do that instead of Abe. Probably just find some good sound bites and turn them into. Is that what y'all want to do? Oh, and then I listened to a little bit of Rebel this morning. Ugh. What a fucking retard. Late last night at like midnight his time, he goes, right before he ended his stream, he's like, it was kind of funny because his title was of his stream that had been going for 6 or 7 hours was something along to the effect of, still no donos from you people for cigarettes and weed. No chat until you donate chooch. Something like that, right? No chat until he gets a donation. So after I got off Flying Monkey's stream, I listened to Katie's stream for a minute, and she was playing something from the day before, and he was live talking, and I was like, well, so I go and I listen to him, and he's going on and on. Oh, by the way, Morning Clown, whoever you are, thank you. You were doing a phenomenal job last night. He didn't even realize that once he turned the chat off, or the live commentary mode off, he basically trolled himself into talking and allowing a chat. And then Morning Clown went in there and just agitated that motherfucker to no end. I guess he thinks that it's me. Or I don't know if he thinks it's me or, it certainly isn't him, I don't think, because of some of the shit that Morning Clown was saying. But it was funny nonetheless. But we were sitting there, Voodoo and I were sitting there listening, getting ready for bed. And I told her, I paused it, and I said, you know what's funny about this? I said, I don't know how long he's had live commentary mode off for, but if you read his title, basically, he talked himself into allowing chat, so he doesn't give a fuck about, standing on his principle, because he's lonely and nobody's listening to him. I mean, Katie was live, Flying Monkey was live, I believe Alex V was live. I mean, I don't know who all was live. There was probably a bunch of people live. And nobody was fucking paying attention to him. So he turns off live commentary mode, and then people start coming into the chat, whether it's sock accounts or not, and they basically start trolling him, and they troll him out of silence and into talking. And then getting upset. And as I'm pointing this out to Voodoo, literally within 30 seconds he gets quiet. And then he goes, well, he muted a couple of times, and then he goes, he comes out of silence and he goes, I'll be back. I have a dono, and whatever about this donation. It's fucking like 12:30, right? Comes back a couple minutes later and he's like, yeah, Alex V's live, and I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna tell them that I got this donation and see what they think, or if their heads are up their asses, basically, and goodbye. And he ends the stream. And I was laughing because it's such an obvious lie employ. First he did the dono thing to try to get the chat, his own chat, to react. Nobody bit. Nobody even said anything. Then he ended his stream because the first thing when he comes on this morning, he's talking about that stupid fucking fake dono. What are we gonna do with that kid? What's up, Pat? What's up, Eat Ghost? Silver Diamond, hello, Patriot Defense. Yeah, Dave. I know it. Rebel can't stand Rebel. It's hilarious. Just Hello. But yeah, ugh. Mm-mm-mm. I remember years ago, I used to, back before video, all of these weird behaviors were all just words on a screen. And, you know, you could try. You could try to, derive a conclusion about what you were reading, or about the person that was typing it in a forum that maybe, you know, they literally had nothing else in their life, and they would make up all these profiles and, tell lies and talk to themselves and all of that shit. And then now that we have this platform and others, so you can actually like witnessing it happen, it's amazing. It really is amazing. And I can't help but wonder if, you know, if they realize what they actually look like on from the outside looking in. I don't know. I mean, I ask Voodoo all the time, do retards know they're retarded? I do know that I can be retarded. Um, I'm not talking all the time, so I know I'm not displaying my retardedness all the time, just by virtue of the fact that I don't open my mouth at least, you know, 60% of the time that I'm conscious and awake. Uh, but I wonder what those numbers look like for somebody like Rebel or Abe or Emo. I don't know. A little too deep for me. It's too early for that shit. Well, let's listen to a little bit of this fuck nut. Let's see what this stupid faggot said, because I didn't get to listen to it last night. I listened to about 10 minutes of it, and then I was like, I need to go to sleep. So I went to sleep. Hello, Flying Monkey. Does anybody want to come up, by the way? I can drop a link. I learned how to do that. Let me see here. Copy it. Paste. Send. Send it. Wait, what is going on? A porch full of orange packages. Does that mean like packages of oranges or orange packages? I guess we'll find out. Alright. Here we go.
Hey everyone.
Do you think it's appropriate that he's... Oh. I love how he's got that. No one cares. That's right. No one gives a fuck. But I think he needs to make that Abes plural. He suffers from cancel Abes.
This is your Abe here. We're going to do a quick video and address a few things that were not addressed over on Flying Monkey's channel today.
This is our Abe. Not my Abe. Of course, I don't want an Abe. I don't think I've ever known anybody named Abe. Abraham. If they... Yeah. I can't recall anybody. None of my friends, certainly. No family members. And anybody in school or at work, no, I've never consciously known an Abraham or an Abe.
Tonight in her Friday effery. First off, she didn't want me getting on the panel and exposing the truth.
We let this fool up on the fucking panel multiple times, and he never said a fucking thing. He talks about the truth, but he doesn't speak anything. He doesn't say anything. It's all it is just whine, 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 cry, cry, cry. So, like, what truth?
Dulcie Betty got on there to play second fiddle for her.
Abe hates fiddles. Play second fiddle. I mean, was this guy like raised by, I don't even know, his great grandparents maybe? Second fiddle. My grandparents didn't even talk about playing second fiddle.
Her and Bedtime Clown white knighting for Lying Monkey also. So
Betty and I were white knighting for Flying Monkey. Okay.
Anyways, the disappointment of that video she was playing there, that restream of Lady Dies with Rick Productions on there, and Axel Bailey, who goes by /Canada, who I've seen on Rick Barry's channel in recent weeks, actually trolling the guy, just to get his jollies.
Of course I clicked the thumbs down, Pat S.
Find that disturbing. So, anyways, why would you want to communicate with a guy who you say is the P word? Anyway, what actually happened over the course of time is if we rewind to a few years ago, several years ago, on Lady Dies, Rick has a temper, as we all know. He's got anger management issues going on there, and he lashed out at Lady Di.
Okay, so he had asked this question a second ago. Why would you want to communicate with somebody like that? Basically, essentially, is what he said. So he has to delve into Rick's anger management problems. That dude is a fucked up dude. Abe, a lot of people that know this guy's history know that guy is a fucked up dude. You don't need to go recount this. There is literally no one new listening to what you're saying. And what's fucked up is, you know this. You know goddamn good and well that what I just said is true. So why are you hitting the rewind and going all the fucking way back to try to delude whoever the fuck may be listening and have a short attention span into believing something that you're saying is true that isn't true? Why are you doing that? This is why, in my belief, you have such a problem every time I point out the specific type of person that you, as an individual, target on this platform.
And called her a lot of bad names. And then she kicked him from her channel. That was prior to the whole stuff with Martin, his husband, and all of that. Now, I'm not really going to dive into any of that. Why am I not going to do that? Because you guys say you're concerned for the victims, right? You're
So he's not going to dive into what's really at the heart of the issue here, right? There's something here. I don't know what it is. Maybe y'all know what it is, but there's something here that he needs to get to by skirting around what the actual truth and the details of the truth are. He's got to worm his way around that to get to whatever his end goal is, which I think, like Trump said last night, is right. You know, it really is content and viewers for him.
They're just, what about the children? That's what, Lying Monkey said. Well, what about them? I mean, when you bring this stuff
Sound clip, guys. Well, what about them?
up and you keep regurgitating it on your channels, then what you're doing is you're creating another piece of commentary for the victims to potentially come across at some futuristic point.
Now, I did hear this part last night, and I thought about it for a minute. I mean, topically, he's on the surface, he's not wrong. But isn't he the one always constantly running around talking about the hypocrisy of all of us and all of our lies and everything else? Well, I mean, really and truly, I think if one of these victims was to come across Bedtime Clown's panel or what he has to say about it, because I'm calling you a Predator supporter, Abe. Now, I know nothing of their case. The victims, that is, that they have against these people, right? I don't see how what you're saying applies to me, and I don't see how what you're saying applies to Flying Monkey. I'm open, to being proven wrong or corrected on this. But I think, you are largely wrong. Because ultimately, I think you're doing more damage with your, well, what about them? You're just casual, flippant, well, fuck them. Because that's basically how you've conducted yourself, as evidenced by the live that Flying Monkey played of you with Lady Di and Rick Productions last night, over and over again. That's been your attitude all along. The whole point that I was taken away from it was both of you knuckleheads had the choice to not allow and do what y'all did regarding Rick Productions on that panel, and both of you took your fucking foot off the goddamn brake and let it rest squarely on the fucking accelerator. I don't know how much more plain it can be made to your dumb fucking ass.
In time. How is that looking out for the victims? The answer is, in short, it's not. And that's why I don't discuss it. Besides, there's new community guidelines to be discussing things like that in any sort of depth. You don't believe me, then you need to go read them. So you might want to watch out for that one.
Yeah, because you'll be fucking reporting it like crazy, right? With all of your fucking dozens and dozens of different handles and accounts and all of that shit on multiple fucking platforms. Isn't that right? You fucking rat. You piece of shit rat. Right? When a predator starts getting called out as a fucking predator, then the predator's going to turn around and fucking rat people out.
Kevin Emptor, buyer beware in Latin. So, but getting on to that's the reason why.
Hey, Randy. Hey, Katie. Hey, people coming in that I missed. Sorry.
That was the kind of the Trojan horse, if you will, that Axel is using to get that guy back on her channel. Okay. So it was over the course, as I understand it, of 3 weeks. I heard him say it a few times in the panel to try to, to let him back on there again. She kept saying no. Then, he was communicating with her backstage, and he was.
Yeah, corrosive, for sure. I mean, right. says a lot of words, that aren't that. Well, the only cohesiveness to them is that they're all gibberish. They say nothing, Yeah, Katie, he was on Dice, but this was back like last summer.
He was also talking to her on Skype. And this went on for the course, according to her, somewhere between.
By the way, none of this behind the scenes on Skype shit, all of that that Abe is talking about right now, though, that only came out of Lady Di's mouth, and it only came out of Abe's mouth. If Slash said it, I didn't hear it. I mean, I think he may have said that he has talked to her on Skype before, but in regards to this, I don't know. And Abe knows this.
In the range of 2 and 3 weeks, by which she did finally give in and let him on her panel. And the sole purpose was to let him apologize. Now, Blue Eyes, who...
Now, this is not true. Now, it may be true to Abe because of, you know, the dialogue that he has going with Lady Di off of YouTube, right? But that's not the narrative that they painted when they were online talking to an audience. The narrative, as I remember it, that they painted online was that the issue was really between that Slash guy and Rick Productions. And Abe was making it apparent that Lady Di was going to be the one to provide the platform in order for those two to have some type of dialogue between each other. Why that ever even needed to happen, I have no idea. Okay? Again, look who we're talking about, right? The Lady Di getting called names way back in the past was merely a stumbling block that Abe was putting out there that Rick Productions needed to apologize to Lady Di for calling her a bitch or something, right? So that Lady Di would feel comfortable with having a fucking a borderline pedophile person himself, a very sick individual up on her panel, so that, you know, Abe could do damage control and possibly try to quell the audience's discomfort and appease to them so that, you know, I don't know, whatever the fuck could happen. That's how I remember it. Flying Monkey, correct me if I'm... Or Miss Joe. Miss Joe was still in Lady Di's channel back then. If Mammy was here, she was still here back then. I know Hillbilly Man was still around back then. DJ Moore was around. I mean, there was a ton of witnesses that heard all of this very same stuff and probably didn't draw conclusions too far off from mine that that was actually what was going on.
Has not been on her channel since I had gotten back on it after 2 years of being off of it. Was nowhere to be seen. Neither was 69 Mammy, the one who... 69 Mammy plays a big role in this. It was not Andrew Brame. Andrew Brame he's not the one that brought to light all the stuff with that guy over in the UK.
And see, again, right, he jumps from what was occurring last summer, which is what I just went into my little thing about, all the way back. I don't know how far back Andrew in his expose on this guy goes, but why does he go from summer of 2023 all the way back, potentially a year, 2 years prior, however long ago that was? Why? What is the purpose of that?
It was 69 Mammy. Initially, it was, I believe, Shiva who did it from over there, some of the UPKers. So, anyways, that's neither here nor there.
And that's right, Abe. That's neither here nor there. None of that has anything to do with what you were just discussing 60 seconds prior to that. Abe, this is the problem that maybe a lot of people have a trouble or maybe not the attention span to articulate to you. This type of behavior from you, you're soaked in it. You wash your clothes in it. You sleep in a fucking puddle of it with it raining down upon your head 24/7. You fucking vomit it. you eat your own vomit and vomit it back up again. It literally seeps from every fucking pore in your goddamn being. And you can't seem to put it down.
But here on the American side, I recount 69 Mammy was the one. Now, if someone wants to correct me on that, leave a comment in the chat or reach out to me via email, or simply, like I say, leave a comment. Leave a comment. And yes, if you flood it with emojis, Nightbot will zap you. I leave that in place because I don't like my channel.
If you flood it with emojis, if you put more than 3 emojis, you're getting deleted and your comments not going up. Abe, the emoji and retarded font king, doesn't like other people using his using emojis.
Channel getting flooded with a zillion emojis. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But here on the American side, I recount 69 Mammy was the one. Now, if someone wants to correct me on that, leave a comment in the chat or reach out to me via email, or simply, like I say, leave a comment. Leave a comment. And yes, if you flood it with emojis, Nightbot will zap you. I leave that in place because I don't like my channel getting flooded with a zillion emojis.
Abe, have you ever thought to yourself, maybe the other people that you infect with your presence don't like their channels getting flooded with emojis either? Asking for a friend.
Like UPKers like to do when they overpower the chats and they start to spam and flood them when they hop off their Discord server, which is why they are so obnoxious to me at times. All right, so anyways, back on point here. Those are... Flying Monkey, she didn't play the rest of that video. And the reason she didn't play the rest of that video for you guys...
First and foremost, the reason that we didn't go any further is both of us were fucking exhausted.
Is because you would have heard... You started to just barely hear me asking, Axel, do you think it was a good idea to bring this guy back on her panel? To do that, to apologize to her? Because, you know, we...
Whoa. Here he is. He's pushing the blame onto this other drunk guy who really, in my opinion, didn't seem to give a flying fuck one way or the other and was very uncomfortable, right? With Di bringing this fucking piece of shit on her panel during the time that Abe was the one pushing it. Nice deflection there, Abe.
People Tyrant Wars and everybody else was blaming me for bringing him on there. I mean, Blue Eyes, somebody obviously told her he was on the panel for her to even come on there, because I had not seen her in at all since I got back on YouTube. So call it a cake or call it what it is. It's a cake. Trust me, it's a cake. One hell of a birthday cake, let me tell you, on YouTube. Let me tell you. So anyway, there's the truth of it, though. That now, so she didn't play the rest of the video because that would have painted me in a good light, and she certainly doesn't want that on her channel. I mean, after all, she kicked me off. She kept muting me on the panel, letting Recruit up. She let
So, Abe had Lady Di take all of these streams down, okay, because none of them paint Abe in a good light. And anytime any of us bring this stuff up, straight from memory, it's not hearsay. This is straight from what we remember, right? Happening last spring, summer, and fall. Because he had to remove all of that stuff, he then turns around and just blindly and, every single time it comes up, whatever it is regarding this point in time, he just goes, "Whoa, where are the receipts? How do you like them apples? They always say this and that, but they don't have any receipts." Well, last night is a perfect example on Flying Monkey's channel of her having that receipt. Like I said last night, this didn't all occur on, in a 10-minute window or an hour window on one fucking live stream. This shit went on night after night after night for weeks and months on end.
Does Joe get on there and start running her mouth again like she had prior, saying I'm controlling her channel with no receipts as usual? There's one for you, Ms. Joe. You lie, and you continue to keep telling lies. Therefore, you live the lie. I've said this from the get-go, guys. When you hear the lie and you believe the lie and you repeat the lie, guess what? You sort of become it, don't you? You become the lie. So there you go. There you go. You got Bedtime Clown running his mouth, Flying Monkey saying yes. The fact that I have access to her StreamYard studio as a co-host means that I'm a YouTube channel owner, and that's incorrect. YouTube.
So here we go. This was another thing I noticed about him. So he displays this kind of like diplomatic poking in my mind towards like you know, some of the ladies, where it's like he wants to keep, when he talks about Flying Monkey and calls her Lying Monkey, Miss Joe, she's still lying to this day, blah blah blah. He's not just cutting them off in his description of them and his description of what they're doing or whatever it is that they're saying. He's saying it in a manner, in my opinion, where he's kind of leaving a dialogue open, where when he refers to me, it's cut off. Like, that's it. They got Bedtime Clown running his mouth. Because he doesn't really, in my opinion, he doesn't want any dialogue with me. It's not going to happen. He knows this. But he also knows that with the others, he can poke and poke and push and push and push. And some of them will get mad and they will react to him. And others he can't. I've noticed that about him. So you can tell, it's kind of like the deal, and there's been other creators that have picked up on it too with his cursing, where he's playing his like kind of like Katie deal, where Katie says she's unbothered, she's not bothered, you got to stay unbothered. He has a hard time maintaining that. He can maintain it for a short period of time. This is why he doesn't like more than one person up on panel. Well, up on any panel other than his own. Because he considers it dogpiling, because he can't, his words per minute, his WSPM, word salad per minute, can't process and can't keep up with more than one person. Even if it's just one person with him on a panel on somebody else's channel, he considers that a dog pile. I don't know if y'all have ever noticed that. But yeah, just little, he's got all of these little ticks that I think it really sticks in his craw, that he's that transparent and he's that easy to pick up on. I think Rebel gets mad at himself and mad at all of us for picking up on that shit about him as well.
But StreamYard are two entirely separate platforms. StreamYard is similar to Restream.io and Prism and a bunch of the other ones out there too. It is completely separate from YouTube. And YouTube is owned by Google, okay? StreamYard's somebody else. So even if you've got manager access to someone's StreamYard, it doesn't mean that you don't have access to own their channel. You may or you may not. Now, you might, mind you guys.
So, what I was, and I kind of got off topic there, but you know, some of us tend to gloss over the details of ownership, co-ownership, and that kind of stuff. Yes, of course, YouTube and StreamYard are completely separate. This is another thing that Abe and I have gotten into it about in the past, is that he talks down to everyone as if he knows everything, and has so much more knowledge than everybody else. Where a lot of people might just gloss over, sort of like what Corrosive just pointed out a second ago. The funniest thing about Abe is he thinks people actually care about what he has to say, but where was it? He thinks people are actually listening for info rather than to just laugh at his dumb ass. And so, right. So where Corrosive and not necessarily Corrosive, because Corrosive is very detailed, but where I, Flying Monkey, some other ones may just kind of gloss over what the actual details and the semantics between them are. It's not that we're trying to paint some story that isn't true. It's just those are details that, you know, even a below average intelligence person isn't going to give two flying fucks about. What we're saying is, Abe, is that you are behind the scenes turning on and off people's mics. You're bringing people up. You're kicking them off panel. You're blocking them out of chats. That's the whole motherfucking point. Oh, I lost my mouse. Andrew, no. What is Andrew saying? Abe is a good guy. He's definitely a good guy for ridiculing. I'm not picking on him. Poor Abe. Yeah, poor Abe. Poor Abe, poor Rebel. I gotta get back over to this. All right.
They don't have channel owners. You can't have co-owners of channels. You can have managers. And there's different levels of position I think there's like 3 or 4 different positions similar to Discord that you can assign people with your channel. You have to invite them, and the highest you can go, as I've seen, is manager. A manager is not an owner, is not a co-owner of a channel, and they cannot terminate it and stuff like that through Google, like someone's Gmail and things like that. So
Andrew, I agree with you. You know, I don't remember what I asked Flying Monkey last night. Oh, it was about Abe's history on YouTube. It's like prior to his 2-year disappearance and whatever. And I think I asked her if he was just one of these tinfoil hat weirdos that gets on the internet and claims they're being gang stalked by the government and all that kind of shit, and she said yes, and I was like, oh, well then I'm the retard for thinking something different. You know, yeah, I agree with you 100%. He is just a delusional retard. Because you have your phone set for retard. I think that's what I mean. Yeah, I don't know if y'all have ever had Google like talk back to you. I have. I was in my truck one time listening to a live stream, and Google Voice picked up something that the creator said. I was in traffic. I was a little bit stressed because, you know, traffic, and it was at the end of the day, and it like heard what I was listening to, and then it decided to do whatever it wanted and switch over to a different something. And I was really into what I was listening to, and I started cussing at it. I was like, what the fuck, you stupid motherfucking Google, you fucking retarded fuck. And then it went, I heard the little bell, it does, like the little ding, it goes ding. And it said something to the effect of, in that female voice, it said something, it was like, I do not appreciate, you know, or those words are not, it wasn't, I don't understand what you're saying. It was basically giving me shit for telling it to quit being a fucking retard. So now I'm literally driving down the road with my hands in the air and my mouth agape and my eyes like fucking dinner saucers going, my fucking Google just chided me and I guess put me in my fucking place when it's the what. I had to unplug my fucking shit and turn it off. I couldn't believe it. That's the only time that's ever happened. All right, hang on. I'll try to catch up with you guys. Dude, I've had a YouTube stream trigger Google Home and then Shadow somehow triggered Alexa. I'll tell you what, man, for a rock busting knuckle dragon fucking Gen Xer like me, y'all would have laughed your fucking ass off if y'all could have seen that shit and heard what I had to say live. And heard what Google, that bitch, had to say to me. Y'all would have been like, oh, BTC just got fucking told. Fucking motherfuckers. Alright. I got that shit turned off now, and I use Android. I have a Galaxy phone, and I turned that Bixby bullshit. I put that motherfucker in goddamn ancient fucking Cantonese or some shit, so it would quit fucking doing that shit. You know, if I'll tell you what, man, I don't know how you get rid of Bixby, but that is the biggest bunch of bullshit. And when I get a new phone, if there is a button that is specifically for Bixby, I am fucking super gluing that motherfucker in the off position, you know, where it's not pushed, so that it cannot be, it becomes a permanent fucking fixture that cannot be fucking pushed. Yeah, that shit is, it's maddening. I posted a link earlier if anybody wants to come up. I'll post it again. There, because y'all might get bored. I don't really want to sit here all that long. Let me see what else he's saying.
That's where I got you on that one. I had to correct you on that. Now, it was read on the panel after I got timed out, but not before, not a moment too soon. Now, the other thing I'm going to bring up to you all is that Rick Barry over there was he was used by Axel Bailey, and he was trying to get him on her channel. And he was also the same token, as someone mentioned, Blue Eyes mentioned, where is Glenn Lambright? You should ask yourselves that question, because you're the guys that ran him off this platform by trolling him so hard. Blue Eyes, you know all about that. El Sancho was doing it. Some of the guys in the AC crew was doing it. I didn't see AC. AC never did it that I saw, but people that are around him, I mean, that know him, Brett, the settlement, you know, guys like that were doing it. Yes, they were. So those are the guys who drove him off this platform, unfortunately, or so it would seem.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, anyways, you know, maybe you should reflect on yourselves for doing that. You know, maybe it's not always Abe that's doing all this. It's you guys. You know, you're spreading lies on your channels and things like that, telling half truths and just outright lies. And I get it; it's shock content for you guys, but it's far be it from the truth. Now, I detected Gomez, who was on some ER's channel one night, and he left the panel. And
so 10 minutes in, and we've delved completely fucking away from Rick Productions / Lady Di, Abe's involvement. I mean, how many times has that happened in the last 10 minutes alone?
And then once I told him, I says, well, all they're doing is talking trash over there. And you know, they're not about the truth. And I guess he got back on the panel the next night and says, well, you know, if I would have known this panel was just about talking shit about people and things like that, I would have, you know, and we're not about getting down to brass tacks and the truth, then I would have just stuck around longer. See how that works? And that's what Flying Monkey's channel is all about when she does these Friday night efferees that she does. So anyways, you know, be it as it may, Lady Di hasn't even been around YouTube. She hasn't gone live in a while. She's been doing other things in her life, and I'm not her spokesman. So if you want to know what she's up to, go ask her. Not me. But she still continues to get, you know, to be the butt end of people's jokes.
Now, I could be wrong, Corrosive, but I'm pretty sure that we listened to this last night, right? Yeah, she sitting, shitting.
And attacks and the trolling. But she's not around to be trolled. See? She's avoiding certain people, I'm guessing for obvious reasons. Now, Rick Rude, who says that I drove wedges and all this.
I mean, I wonder if she's avoiding you possibly because you send her all of this shit and sent and put her delusional fucking crazy ass into a goddamn frenzy and probably give her fucking panic attacks and every fucking thing else. Because if there's one thing, and I haven't known Lady Di that long, that I can definitely tell about Lady Di, she can dish it, but she sure as fuck can't even come close to taking it.
Nonsense with her friends and ran her off the platform before correcting himself a little bit today on his own live, saying, well, I'm sort of the one who ran her off. Well, what you did do, Rick, is you and Salty Rant started meddling with her family because you contacted them on Facebook Messenger, Instant Messenger, whatever it's called, and started to heckle them about her. He also called the HOA where she lives to try to get her kicked out of her house. He's not telling you that either. Between the two of them, and
HOAs can be annoying, but I don't know that they can be that annoying. Like, my experience with HOAs is if Rick Crude was to call, like, let's say I had an HOA and I had a bunch of garbage in my backyard. I had overgrown foliage. I didn't mow my yard. I didn't edge it. None of that stuff. First off, the HOA would be all over my ass well before Rick Crude would even get a chance to fucking call them. First and foremost, they, depending on how long that occurs, right, that would have multiple warnings, not only in the mail, in the email, on the fucking phone. They would basically harass your motherfucking ass. This is every HOA I've had experience with, right? And friends and relatives that live in HOAs across the United States, no less. It seems to be pretty much across the board the fucking same. Okay, a crazy guy from the internet calls the HOA and says she has a service dog that's a non-service dog, potentially.
And also doxed her physical address, and then doxed her daughter's physical address, and then doxed all of her relatives. He sort of forgot that part, right? Right. So, who says, if you want to take credit for running off someone who's 74 years old, who just got on here to have some fun with their friends, I mean, knock your socks off, dude. That's not a title I would want to keep, though. I wouldn't show any pride in that. But you and I do me, right?
You don't show any pride, period.
So, anyways, there's the truth about Rick Productions on Lady Di's channel. In Tyrant Wars, the community tab, all but basically accusing me of bringing him on there to begin with. Well, it's her channel. Did we not stop and examine? She can bring on her channel who she doesn't want to bring on her channel.
Hang on, let me look at chat real quick. I agree, Flying Monkey. Hey, AC. Yeah, it's crazy.
Then the accusation was made that the proof is in the pudding. I was controlling her channel because I adjusted his mic volume, and I did do that because Axel would come on there blasting his mic maximum so he could talk over all of us, obviously. And I would and he was so loud at times he would start clipping, his audio would start clipping, and it would cut in and out, and we couldn't even hear what he was saying anyway. So if she didn't adjust his mic volume, I did it as a co-host in her studio, which is, again, not the same as a channel owner. Now, Ms. Joe says, well, he certainly was controlling her channel. One time she said it's because he has a managing mod wrench. Well, then I came back and I says, well, you know something? You too had a managing mod wrench at that time also. So you're
right. And oddly enough, so did I. And how did I get that there, Abe? Oh, I meant to pause it. I got to rewind it a little bit. And the reason Miss Joe would speak on things like that is because you were claiming that you weren't hiding people. You were claiming that you weren't doing certain things when we could all see you fucking doing it. I mean, like, that's what's amazing to me. But there again, like I said earlier, he had Lady Di take all of those streams down. And I don't know all the ins and outs of, you know, why the chat shows up sometimes, why it doesn't show up. So even if those were put back up, you probably wouldn't see the chat. And if you don't have a wrench, and even after the stream is over, even if you do have a wrench, I don't know these days if you can go back like it used to be and see when something got deleted. Usually when, as a mod, whether you're managing or just a standard mod, you know, something got deleted after a certain period of time, whether it was within the window of the stream or outside of it. If you go back and try to look at it, you're not even going to see that poster's original comments. You're not going to see where it was deleted, who deleted it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a couple of years ago, it seems like I remember maybe you could, but I don't know. In StreamYard, of course, you can see all comments, but you can't see necessarily what gets deleted unless it gets deleted by the channel owner. Either way, it's just like Abe said earlier. Well, it's neither here nor there. It's all a bunch of fucking semantics and details wrapped up with semantics that don't fucking matter, not even to Abe. And why he's speaking on them, in my opinion, is only an attempt to try to muddle and confuse what the actual truth is. I'm gonna have to mute my mic for a second, guys, because this helicopter is gonna get fucking loud as shit.
Owner. Now, Ms. Joe says, well, he certainly was controlling her channel. One time she said it's because he has a managing mod wrench. Well, then I came back and I says, well, you know something? You too had a managing mod wrench at that time also. So your argument is mute there, Miss Joe, who was involved in a lie about me with doxing Patriot Defense, who was in the chat tonight with We the People Tyrant Wars. And that was a lie that her and 69 Mammy were rolling with for almost a year. But not quite a year, but probably about 7 or 8 months before it totally got debunked. So anyways, I mean, what else can be said? I mean, you know, Ms. Joe admitted she contacted Tyrant Wars an email and asked them to put out the other emails, which they obliged. But they didn't show the emails that they sent to me. You only see the ones that I had sent to them.
Okay, Patriot. So was this a specific, like, are you claiming sole responsibility for her getting rid of those streams? The only reason I ask is because Abe has claimed in the past that he was asking her to private those streams. Now, he didn't do it often. I think I only heard him or saw him say it in a chat maybe twice. Oh, and I guess I should clarify too. When you say after, do you mean immediately after the Rick production stuff, or do you mean the what it took roughly 3 months? I'll say 90 days. I mean, she did put some away right after the Rick production stuff, but the majority of the channel didn't go away until months and months later. At least that's the way I remember it. Yeah, sorry, Stella. Okay, so you asked her to put them away, but again, are you talking about the Rick Productions stuff, or are you talking about all of it as one cohesive fail swoop? Okay, gotcha. Okay, and Pedro, you know, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just, I know you I have to get specific, and sometimes I forget to, really get specific. But I will certainly, I will certainly curtail, putting that sole responsibility on him. It would be nice to know whether or not the initial dump of the Rick stuff, what, who that fell on. Well, I don't even really know. It doesn't really matter to me whether it fell on you or her. I think my thing that really, just for me personally, that sticks out is not the Rick production stuff. It was more of all of it that got dumped a few months later, because she did empty the channel. And so all of, basically the months and months and months of stuff that wasn't recorded by other people, because I didn't record any of that shit. I'm just going off of memory, but that big dump that she had, big dump, months and months later, like in the beginning of fall or mid fall, somewhere in there, all of the stuff that we try to bring up with Abe and point out with Abe, he goes, oh, well, do you have any receipts for that? And, so that's the reason I was asking whether or not, you specifically were saying to her, because I think I do recall you saying in a chat at some point right around the time that JJ, she had me up on panel and had that JJ guy up on panel at the same time. Now, I'm not saying it was that stream. It was just in that time frame. I think I do recall seeing you say something to her about those streams with Rick Productions on them. So that's the only reason I would ask, Okay, no, all of this was way prior to Rick Productions coming on, but I did tell her to get him off her stream because it would not end well. Okay, and that's probably what I was just referencing. Okay, but no, all of them. Okay. Way before Rick Productions. About the Rick streams, I don't know if she did that because of prior or because of what was going on with Rick Productions after. Okay. All right. Well, like I said, man, I'll definitely try to curtail, painting it a certain, like that, because I guess I do kind of say, well, Abe was solely responsible for that. That, it's never really my point when I say that. I really only say it because, he's always screaming for receipts, and I'm always telling him, well, tell Lady Di to put the fucking videos back up. But she's claiming now, or I'm deriving from what she said in reference to that to me before, not too long ago, that she doesn't have those streams anymore. That she deleted them all to make room, whatever that means.
Got possession of all of that stuff. I do.
But of course, Abe has possession of all of that stuff. He does, right? Let me see.
Probably about 7 or 8 months before it totally got debunked. And it would cut in and out, and we couldn't even hear what he was saying anyway. So if she didn't adjust his mic volume, I did it as a co-host in her studio, which is, again, not the same as a channel owner. Now, Ms. Joe says, well, he certainly was controlling her channel. One time she said it's because he has a managing mod wrench. Well, then I came back and I says, well, you know something? You two had a managing mod wrench at that time also. So your argument is mute there, Miss Joe, who was involved in a lie about me with doxing Patriot Defense, who was in the chat tonight with We the People Tyrant Wars. And that was a lie that her and 69 Mammy were rolling with for almost a year. But not quite a year, but probably about 7 or 8 months before it totally got debunked. So anyways, I mean, what else can be said? I mean, Ms. Joe admitted she contacted Tyrant Wars an email and asked them to put out the other emails, which they obliged. But they didn't show the emails that they sent to me. You only see the ones that I had sent to them. I've got possession of all of that stuff. I do. So anyways,
right. So we'll never see any of Abe's receipts. He'll never be able, well, I say be able, according to him, he's completely able, right? To show receipts, to debunk every one of our lies. And he's got it backed up with emails. He can prove everything that he's saying. He just said it. He's got it all. But he won't. And he won't because he can't. And he can't because he's a fucking liar. Yep. Yeah, Corrosive, everything you just said is 100% true. It's amazing. Amazing. Oh, I gotta get JOP's amazing.
There is that. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to say about it. It's that
That's all he wanted to say. That's all he ever wants to fucking say. You know, and then he goes on for another however long. He's 14 minutes in. He's got 38 minutes to go.
you know,
I don't know. Do the math. 24 minutes. Whatever the fuck that is.
I get the trolling is fun for you guys, because apparently you've got nothing else in common other than that. But which to me is kind of sad in itself. You're spending your Friday night.
Actually, we all have lots in common. It's not just the trolling. I mean, the trolling is but one symptom, right, of a cohesiveness that's exhibited by having things in common online. This often happens, Abe, in real life. You know, when people run into each other and they don't necessarily know each other and they strike up conversations, things like that. You know, when you actually leave the basement, you tinfoil hat wearing, gang stalked freak. Ugh.
On YouTube, bringing up an old live panel with some guy trolling this other guy from the UK. Now, I can't, because of community guidelines, I cannot repeat what Axel said to that guy when he got on the panel, but it was pretty disgusting. And that was immediate. That was...
He can't repeat anything. But he can damn sure get in that private chat and he can talk all kinds of nasty shit, right? That gets screenshotted and eventually will end up on YouTube. But he can't say it. He can't come on his channel and he can say it, but he sure doesn't have a problem saying nasty, disgusting things to people on other people's channels.
That was without delay. And it was an imminent attack that he was doing on him. And I had asked Axel prior and finally got him to admit. And I said, why don't you just try to lure him on your channel instead of Lady Dies or Glenn Lanebright's? Because he was trying to get...
Now, I love this. Why don't you try to lure him onto your channel? I think it's funny that people are calling Abe a worm, and he's talking about trying to lure sick individuals onto their panels so that they can possibly manipulate whatever it is that they want out of this sick, twisted individual. That's great, Abe. You're such a wholesome character.
Get Glenn Lanebright to let him on his channel too at that time. And Glenn said not only no, but hell no. And that's when he started going at Lady Di really hard at trying to get her to let him on, which she ultimately did. But see, he was using...
Now, I could be wrong, but I don't believe that's chronologically correct. I think that Axel was on Lady Di's channel prior to what he's referencing there, where Axel was trying to get Glenn to do this quote unquote dirty work that Abe, is trying to paint here. That is when Glenn said not only no, but hell no. And not only did Glenn say it on his channel, but he said it on Lady Di's channel as well. That's what I remember. Again, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
He was trying to... This is what goes on out here. This is what Hillbilly Man and Becca N were doing with Lady Di. And
Right. I'm going to tell people to manipulate other people to get whatever it is that they want or use it as content however they want. And this is and let's go back to Becca N and Hillbilly Man, and then let's go back to Andrew 5 years ago, and then let's go back to Salty Rant when he called Lady Di's daughter, and whatever the fuck. Please don't hold me to the truthfulness of any of that. I'm just using that as an example. Abe's favorite thing to do, use examples.
recruit. not that
What's
long
that
ago,
been?
right? When he's trying to act like Mr. Switzerland. Now I screenshot it and put it in my community tab. A comment that he made where he was glad someone got ran off the internet or YouTube. This is indicative of somebody who has nothing but nefarious intent for other YouTubers, including Hawkwind.
What about including Rick Productions? You're talking about running people off of YouTube. What about nasty motherfuckers like that? I mean, sure, YouTuber, but I mean, I'm just saying. I'm very opinionated when it comes down to the. I say opinionated. I mean, the YouTube's idea of what a community is what YouTube defines it as. And when you go into a chat, there's that little window that pops up before you type anything, usually, that says, guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Now, to me, the word community gets thrown around a lot, and I feel like it's misused. I feel like YouTube as a whole is the actual community, and it has guidelines. People say their channels are a community, as if Corrosive's channel and my channel and I don't know, Ms. Joe's channel, are three separate communities. I mean, maybe that's true for people, but I don't think so. I think because anybody can come in at any point in time, and anybody can leave at any point in time, and they can still stay on YouTube. They just may not be watching or participating in that channel. So the guidelines for the YouTube community are pretty much the same. Guard your privacy, don't be a shithead, right? That's the way I see it. Now I just lost my train of thought. Oh, fuck, god damn it. I hate when that happens.
Who was not perfect either by any stretch of imagination. But take a look at Hillrod spam there, Hillbilly Man, and him and Becca N running that guy off the platform, and they sure did call CPS on his kid.
Okay, yeah, that's right, running people off the platform. Yeah, communities tend to do that, Abe, when there's somebody there or around that they don't want. This is what Robert Redmond was asking you last night in the chat. Why do you continue to go someplace where you're not wanted? It's stupid. And I don't know about this calling, since he wants to argue semantics and detail. You're going to call CPS on a kid? What are you going to call CPS and tell them? Hey, Child Protective Services, this child is a piece of shit. That's usually not how it works, Abe.
Yes, they did. I've caught him in Huckleberry, or was it Grim Reapers? One of the two channels, I think it was Grim Reapers, all but admitting that he did it. So see, and I took screenshots of that too. So thanks to her.
Moms, what you saw shit show here? Does that mean AC is back in action on that channel? Oh, I don't know. I didn't see him say anything. I'm not sure. Maybe he'll come in and specify. I don't know.
For highlighting that on her in her StreamYards on the panel there, so I could get some good screenshots of that, because I would have missed it otherwise. So there's a compliment for you, Huckleberry. Hey, take him when you got him, right? Right, exactly. Still a fake bet though.
Talking to him.
So, anyways, there it is. That's the truth. And unfortunately, like I say, Flying Monkey's not going to play the rest of that panel, because that's where I'm drilling Slash, who lied about being an informant for the Bristol Police and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, because he's from Canada. Hence the name, YouTube name.
Right, Dave.
Although he was going by Axel Bailey by that time, but it's the same person. So, and then he admitted the part you did hear that she played was, I asked him, "Are you acting in any official capacity for Law Enforcement as an informant or anything like that?" And then he says, he hesitantly said, no, I did it as I'm doing it purely as a concerned citizen, and that the Bristol police said there's nothing they can do about him. So then I said, but then Lady Di comes back at him, and she says, well, that's not what you've been told me before, and that's not what you've been saying all along. All along, as in, for the last couple years or whatever. And what she said is correct. I'm
Meanwhile, I know all of you already know this, but this guy that he's speaking about is fucking drunk 24 fucking 7. I mean, it's amazing that he could even get up on a goddamn panel. Just saying.
not saying that because she's a friend of mine. Because if she said no, then I would have come forward and told you that. And if you don't believe me, then you need to go back to Flying Monkey and ask her to replay the rest of that video stream that she didn't play, and she ended the live stream.
You know what, you stupid motherfucker? Maybe we'll do it next fucking Friday, but I'm sure you will have committed a fucking plethora of goddamn internet atrocities between now and then, and it won't even be worth going back and fucking revisiting. Not that any of it's worth anything at all, other than you're pissed off because people are calling you out for the piece of shit that you fucking are, and you can't get the fuck out of it. Just like Lady Di can't get out of the fucking shitty diaper that she's fucking shit for herself on her own goddamn shitty fucking channel. There's that. How about them apples, bitch?
Because she didn't want that part to come out. So there you go. And there's one for Mr. Lucifer and all the rest of them over there. All the rest of you guys. Bedtime Clown. You guys don't want to hear the truth. You don't want to see the truth. All you want to do is troll and talk smack. But that's not being a truther, is it? That's not being honest, and that's called living a lie. And that's why I call you guys the Legion of Liars. So there it is. There it is. Anyway, that's all I got for you. But I'm got to tell you guys, you got to watch what you say on these panels, because there's community guidelines and stuff like that. And you're getting into this special victims crime that happened over in Bristol, England, and you're talking about a sensitive class of people, and you start going into details about that. You guys do realize that the community guidelines say you can't do that anymore, right? I mean, even big channel names that have like crime documentaries and stuff have had to take down a lot of their content to comply with these new rules, because even older videos are subject to the new rules. It's not like ex post facto. It's de facto. So anyways, I'm just going to let you guys know about that. I'm not saying I'm going to report you. I'm just simply saying that, yeah, you can get in trouble for that stuff. And there's a good reason too, because Google's trying to do is they're trying to look out for the victims of violent crime, special classes of people in particular, right? Right. And here you guys are tonight talking about the stuff all over again. So see, that's not such a good look in my book, is it?
Well, actually, we weren't necessarily talking about them. We were talking about you and your relationship and Lady Di's relationship and how it all tied together with Rig Productions and ultimately, I guess, this Martin guy, the husband, and the JJ character. And how y'all were all just a bunch of disgusting peas in a nasty pea stained pod, you dumb motherfucker.
No, it's not. How about them apples, like COVIDs would say or used to say. So anyways, there you go. That's all I got to say. I want to thank you guys for watching this video and tuning in, and moving on to bigger, better things. But
bigger, better things. Yeah. We believe you, Abe.
When it comes down to truth versus lies, and facts, well, there you go. Everyone says I was just a private security guard at the university. Well, you guys see that it was police and public safety. Where does it say security guard in there, right? Right. It's all just a big troll. That's all it is. You don't want the facts. You don't want the truth. No, you don't, do you? You don't. So, anyways, there is that, and so much more. But we'll dive into that later. Maybe, maybe not.
On to bigger and better things, don't forget.
But as you saw in this video, I was careful about how I worded all this because guess what? Go read the last 2 recent updates that Google did to their community guidelines. And the second, there's one in there about, getting strikes in the community tabs and stuff now, which is a newer thing they did last November. And then I think it was shortly after that. It was like January of last month. They enacted
January of last month.
the new community guidelines that get into discussing in any kind of length or detail the underage victims of serious violent crime and things like this. So I'm just going to let you guys know that as a word of caution to you. But they're your channels. Do what you want with them, right? Just like Lady Di can do what she wants with her channel. But unfortunately, a lot of you guys bought into lies that were told by people like Rick Crude, like Blue Eyes. 69 Mammy was in on that. Flying Monkey, and the rest. And you got no receipts to show for any of it. Showing a little video clip of some old panel is not proof of any of these assertions, these claims that were made against me. The funny thing I will say, though, lastly, and last but not least, is Wile E. Coyote is the guy who was a channel owner or a manager of her channel.
Remember, guys, channel owner, they don't diss. They don't exist. I'm a Wile E. Coyote. Okay.
And you guys had no problem with him doing that, did you? He also had access to her StreamYard, So you had no problem with him. But when I get on there and do it, it's like Miss Joe sitting there. Wow, Hollywood.
So he just admitted that he was doing it. He spent all that time saying he wasn't doing it, and Miss Joe's a liar and all of that. What did he just say? What was that, Abe?
He also had access to her StreamYard, So you had no problem with him.
Yeah.
But when I get on there and do it, it's just like Miss.
When I get on there and do it, he always says the phrase, what is it? What's good for thee, not for me. You fucking retard, man. Oh my god.
Joe's sitting there. Wow, all he would do is get on there and talk about the same thing and get off. Well, Ms. Joe, let me ask you something, because you were on Flying Monkey's panel tonight, okay? And we all heard what you said. Why?
I don't know anything about Mars Live. I've tried to watch here and there over maybe like the past year, and I mean, I don't know anything about him. At some point I think I saw he was claiming he was being harassed by cops while he was at a police station. I don't know. I don't know if he's the new Mars Life. Surely that the Mars isn't. But I don't know. Y'all know better than I am. I'm not gonna say anything at this point. Oh, Mars has a brain injury. Okay. No, I'm not saying, Crafty, that it wasn't a channel. I would say Abe was claiming that you can't be owner, you can't do this, you can't do that, and he was claiming that Miss Joe and Mammy and anybody that held those very same wrenches that could see what the fuck was going on behind the scenes are all liars. And then he turns around and he just says, well, it was okay for Wile E. Coyote when he did it. Why isn't it okay when I do it? Right? I mean, that's what I was saying. Yeah, Monkey, exactly. Oh, God, Dave. Fuck.
Wouldn't you get on Lady Di's panel after Kevin died? Swammy? Because that was February 2nd of last year. That was just over a year ago. And you of all people know that he was kind of her unofficial co-host, right? I mean, I asked her, and she says, yeah. For all practical purposes, he was my co-host, and I considered him that. So why wouldn't you get on our panel and talk to her once in a while? Instead, you hid in the chats. All you did. And then you bought into all these lies about me. That's what you did.
Hid in the chats. Well, if you knew they were in the chat, then technically they weren't hiding anywhere, Abe. I mean, there's the panel, right? There's the quote-unquote show, and then there's the chat. What else is there? You know, I mean, you're hiding in the chat.
And then you just up and left her and abandoned her. And now what did that get you in the end? You know? I mean,
I didn't see anyone abandon Lady Di. You and her booted everyone, you stupid fuck. I mean, even after Blue Eyes, blew up and multiple times at it, and Mammy too, they still stuck around. They would come in the chat and say hi to people in the chat until you fucking kept on and kept on and kept on, and they literally went, you know what? They put their hands up and went, the old bat is just that, an old fucking bat, and we're out. Fuck that.
I mean, if you're going to act as a repeater for guys like Recruit and all that, well, then you might as well roll with them too, right? I mean, you kind of do now. So...
And that right there was the heart and the essence of what started between Abe and I, because people were calling him a fake cop. I was asking him just simple, questions that were basically yes or no, that, call it trolling if you want. I was very nice to him. Not that I'm anybody or any authority or anything like that. I never portrayed that. I never put myself out there that way. I was just asking whatever it was. And he would fucking get, huffy with me or whatever and say that if I was insinuating that he was a fake cop, then I was calling Lady Di a fake cop. I don't know nothing about Lady Di or what the fuck she ever was a cop or not. But if I'm going to call Abe a fake cop, I'm calling Abe a fake cop. It has nothing to do with Lady Di, other than it occurred on her fucking panel. And he never wants to address that.
Have fun with them. But like I told you, Miss Joe, and everybody else, now you have something to talk about. I hope you're proud of that. I really do. I mean, it's not like Rick Rude was upset that she kicked him off her channel in November 14th of 2022, right? So it's not.
God damn, this motherfucker has got the fuck. Abe, what time did that happen? Wait, can you nail that down? I need hour, minute, and second. I'm gonna need it in both military and meantime, if you don't mind.
It's not like he was, lashing out against her.
I also need that in Braille as well.
He also won Wile E. Coyote's docs. And then when he got in We the People Tyrant Wars, in one of their prior videos, which is still on their channel, by the way.
Hey, Blue Eyes.
They asked for information, and if anyone had any information on Wile E. Coyote. They did. And the reason they did that was for him. Did you know that?
No.
Hope Tyrant Bird heard that one. So that's one way I was able to establish the link between Rick Rude and Tyrant Wars. But nobody in the shit show or anywhere else wanted to listen to me on any of that stuff until they finally made the link on their own, their own, and they start.
Wait, who else made this link? Am I missing something? Listen, guys. I'm blonde. All right, I may very well be missing something. It could be right in front of my fucking face, and I could totally miss it. I was just curious as to whoever else he may be talking about that has made this link. That is even remotely credible and isn't batshit fucking insane.
Started seeing the patterns that I had identified early on, where here's Rick Rude hanging out with all the Tyrant War ringleaders, right, like Huckleberry and everybody else, right?
I'll have to put that on my community page along with Rebel and Easter Island, the ninth wonder of the world, the missing link. It's fucking
right. So Jeez, it's amazing. A guy like Elliot Jameson, who said he was retired from the North Carolina State Police, who sat there and got upset at me because two guys were in her chat, and then told her that they didn't believe it was really him, and then she, not me, pulled his wrench and she hit him from her channel. Instead of reaching out to her, he made comments on my channel, and I had to.
That is not what happened. I believe you can go back on my channel and look at live streams. I have too terribly many of them. I couldn't tell you exactly what it's titled. Maybe I can go back and find it. It shouldn't be that hard to find. Look in the comments, and there's a live stream I did not too terribly long after all of this happened. And that Elliot Jameson person came into my chat and left a long ass fucking multiple paragraph comment that Abe is just describing, except minus the two guys. There is nothing about other people telling Lady Di anything about Elliot Jameson. He comes into my channel and because I still held a wrench and I was still supposedly in good standing with Lady Di, but Abe was already side-eyeing me and we had already got into it several times. That's why that Elliot Jameson guy felt he was okay to reach out to me, not to fucking Abe. Goddamn lying sack of shit.
To relay those to her on his behalf.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Yeah, go back and you can see the exchange. It wasn't Abe, it was me.
and left her channel because he's saying, well, see, there's proof Abe is controlling your channel. Why? Because two other guys told her that they didn't think you were really you and they thought it was a sock account of you. And then she did all that to you, not me. That's proof. What kind of a detective are you not? Bedtime Clown did the same thing. He sat there and said, oh, Abe's the reason that she kicked me off her channel. It's not true. And you know it now, too.
Yeah, you're 100% the reason. We all left Katie's channel. And I believe it was the night that Di tried to, she gave herself a wedgie. We all left Katie's channel and chat that night because Katie was saying that I was going to go up on panel and hand Abe his ass. None of which I agreed to, but everybody wanted to fucking see that, and Flying Monkey was going to go live at the same time, simultaneously, probably to fucking stream it because it was going to be epic, supposedly, right? And I went over and went into Lady Di's. She had not dropped a link. She was acting like nothing had ever happened. I imagine because it was pretty fucking embarrassing for her. I had never been to Flying Monkey's channel. I think I said hello in Lady Di's chat. I went over to Flying Monkey's chat and said hello, and in the same one singular post said, before Flying Monkeys ever even started, I said, well, there's no link posted, and Flying Monkey said, oh, it's Bedtime Clown, welcome, blah, blah, blah. I went right back over to Di's. Abe was up on panel running his fucking mouth saying that I was over talking shit to Flying Monkey about Lady Di, and Lady Di blocked me and started her bullshit with me. That's exactly how it fucking happened. But we'll never know for sure, will we, Abe? Because those live streams are not there anymore.
And then he wondered why I wouldn't go to bat for him over her, with her, when that all happened. Well, you started attacking me for something I didn't do. Maybe that's why.
No, I was attacking you long before that ever happened, and you damn well know it. Everybody knows it.
See? You could have reached out to me. I know you don't want to email me. You could have left a comment on my community tab, and you could have said I didn't say any of the stuff that she's saying I did, but you didn't do that. You just started.
I absolutely did that, except the email part. I'm not emailing you, you fucking creep.
Lashing out at me. Why would I help you now? See? One thing I learned is respect is a two-way street.
Thank you,
and most
Elliot.
of the people, including most of y'all, drive in one lane. we're on a collision course here with each other, right? Yeah, and that's what happened. So Ed Ramirez, that's another guy who said he was always her friend and would never leave her side, and he lied. He lied. He bought into all the lie. He was following what Rick Crude was saying about me. driving wedges and controlling channels, all this nonsense. And you guys, you must have very or relatively low IQs because you bought into it without question. I mean, none of this stuff when it began on ER's channel last year around this time bothered to question if there was any facts or receipts out there for any of the client claims that have been made against me. And I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the first receipt. And you guys can't get it. You guys.
Well, guys, listen, I really appreciate all y'all being here and listening to this fucking asshat and this bullshit. I really don't want to play anymore. I haven't listened. If you want me to, I'll sit through the rest and I'll try to keep it brief. I mean, if y'all are having a good time or whatever, I'll do it. And finish it up, and then I want to get off here. But if not, if y'all are good and y'all are cool and y'all want to go hang out elsewhere, I'm totally good with that as well. 'Cause frankly, I'd rather just eat a relatively large lunch and go take a nap. I'm just tired of this fucking retard. Abe, you absolutely are a fucking lying sack of shit, you know. Elliot, I remember all of this, man. I just don't get it, dude. I don't understand. I don't even know. On the one hand, I want to say, Abe, go prank somebody, in a wholesome, relatively funny and non-harmful way, and put that on your channel as content, and let's just see if you've got any little bit of normalcy to you at all, or I don't know, maybe go do it like some kind of socio-political interview or something. I mean, I don't know, something. And on the other hand, it's like, well, if this is his troll and this is his comedic, I don't know, offering to the world and to us, and I am laughing at it because of how stupid he is. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I do think you need to stop it with the kiddie stuff still, referring to classrooms and children and hey boys and girls and that kind of stuff. I really do think you need to knock that shit off, and you most certainly need to stop propping up and defending reprobate individuals and their child molesting husbands and shit, and evidence destroyers and all of that. You need to knock that shit off. And you need to quit dragging that fucking, that goddamn vegetable on fucking wheels that doesn't even know what fucking time or day it is around with you. And if you're fucking taking advantage of her monetarily, you need to knock that shit off too. You're a sick fuck. Either way you cut it, you're a sick fuck. Ugh. Hey, send you pictures, anything you want to prove. I retired as a state trooper. If able, send pictures of him in uniform. Yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of people don't like Rick Crude, and last night he was being pretty fucking funny. He put up he showed a picture of a officer's arm in a uniform with a patch on it, and I said in the chat, I said, hey, look, there's a patch that's actually sewn on a shirt with an officer wearing it simultaneously. Imagine that. Oh man. Yeah, I think I'm done with Abe. I don't want to listen anymore to this fucking idiot. He's a fucking... Dude, Elliot, you don't need to prove nothing to me, man. You know, you're good. You're good, you know, in my opinion. But yeah, he blatantly lied about you going to him and saying anything to him. The stream and the comment are still up on my channel. Here, let me go see. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it. Would have been about at least 7 months ago. I wished I knew how to go and like sort through the comments in my studio, but I have barely ever even looked at my studio. I don't think it was a 10-minute stream. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it would have been after this, right? Rebel the... Yeah. It should have been after all that. No, it's not that one. I don't know where to find it, guys. Unless you deleted your account, and if you deleted your account, then that comment will probably be gone. I don't see it here. Reason. All right, Elliot, you too, man. It was here somewhere. I don't know. I'll dig through it all later. I don't feel like fucking with it. Because it's just retarded bullshit, I guess, at the end of the day. Yeah, Blue Eyes, he is. He's a fucking worm. A retarded worm. Yeah, I'll dig through it, Elliot, and see if I can find it. But I know it was there. Cuz I think you even you came and commented at another time too and left a really long Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does. Last night he had a little pattern going. He would give the one thumbs up like right when he posted it, and then it was funny because he was waiting almost exactly 10 minutes to give the other two, so he would have a total of 3. Yeah, shit like that. And you know, Rebel does that shit too. He'll bitch and complain. You old motherfuckers don't know shit. You're using emojis like you're fucking teenagers. You think you're so fucking cool and blah blah blah. And they don't understand how is it, guys, that we know about the tactics of the fucking desperate losers on the internet? 2 reasons desperate losers on the internet, no matter what generation you come from. We know this because we've not only written the code, made the emojis, right? Dealt with you crazy motherfuckers, talked to you crazy motherfuckers, befriended you crazy motherfuckers, and you have confided in us that some things you say are the truth and some things you say are lies, and you've told us, right, your little tactics from time to time. And when you told us, it was nothing more than confirmation of what we already knew and ridiculed you for on these forums or platforms that you crazy kids like to call them today. Right? We've always known because we made it. We invented it, you dumb motherfuckers. You're not smarter than everyone else. I personally am truly amazed at somebody like Rebel, who the obvious thing is that how the fuck do you motherfuckers know my every move? Well, first off, you're live streaming it. But second off, back before there was live streaming and video files were so fucking gigantor that unless you paid for server space through email, you couldn't send this shit other than through snail mail to each other. Or if you worked for a huge company or were on an intranet, not internet, intranet, right? We had to derive all of this information from your words on a screen. Like I say, all you crazy ass tinfoil hat wearing, grifting, e-begging pieces of shit have added a voice and video confirmation to what we already knew to be fucking true. You're a lying, loser, scumbag piece of shit. And you won't fucking change, Abe. And you won't either, Rebel. And the countless other of the fucking cows in the goddamn pasture of the fucking internet that moo on an hourly basis. It's amazing. Truly amazing. I'm surprised he hasn't come in here. He's only got one account blocked here. He's got like 13 other ones he can use. The birds. Oh, I've got some birds. Abe. Yeah, I gotta listen to those fuckers, man. They fucking they are out there just caw. Loud as hell. I told Voodoo the other day, because it's usually on Sunday morning. I don't know what it is about Sunday, but man, it gets to be about 6:30 a.m. and they'll be out there just louder than a motherfucker, cawing at each other, going at each other. I told her I wanted to put some like super duper speakers aimed out there so I could get some owls, pumping through there and run them off, because they get quiet when the owl shows up. We have several owls. I've never seen them. They are really good at hiding. And there's a lot of trees around, but I've never seen them. But man, when those owls start, hooting here and there, and they're very, like, you don't hear them often, but when they want things to get quiet, things get quiet. That's what I know. You know what I mean? Fucking owls. But that I have. Yes, we have, Lady Witch. We have all the birds. There's geese. There's ducks. There's crows. There's blue jays. There's cardinals. I think it would be cool if we found some finches. I'm sure they're bound to be around here. I mean, we also we have a green belt not too far from here as well, and there's a park with along one of the rivers slash creeks that feeds 3 or 4 lakes all throughout like north, what they call North Texas, and then on down south of here. And then of course we're not too terribly far from the Trinity River either, and all of these little feeder creeks and ravines and stuff like that are they're all branches of the Trinity at some point in time or another, in their journey south. But yeah, we've got a lot of birds. There's a lot of them. If I ever get into bird watching, I definitely will have a lot to do. That's for sure. But I like having them around. But the crows get a little. They do get a little rambunctious. They get out there and they get fucking rowdy and shit. I mean, I'll walk out there in the back and I'll be like, "Hey!" Then they'll kind of take off and go a few doors down or whatever. Like, God damn, y'all are out here fucking. I mean, I'm trying to meditate and shit. You know what I mean? Y'all are out there fucking just hooting and hollering and doing your damn thing. Just causing a ruckus, disturbing the peace. But unlike Lady Di, I won't go out there and shoot at them with a fucking a pellet gun. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end it with you know. Well, I was going to, you know, Abe and Rebel. They straight up. Beta. They are beta bitches. Long little, or you know, loser little beta bitches is what they are. I agree. Corrosive Lady Di should not be anywhere near a firearm. Pellet gun is a firearm, believe it or not. Your arm is also a firearm, supposedly. A cop told me that one time when I was accused of breaking a window when I was a kid that I did not break because it was at my dad's house. It was one of his neighbors, and the window got broken on Friday night. Was when the lady called the police and made the police report. And my dad picked me up from my grandparents on Saturday morning and drove me the 50 miles to where he lived. And me and my little half brother were playing out in the street near the neighbor's house where the window got broken, and I tossed a rock over from the middle of the street over to the side, and she thought that I had broken her window. So at 11 years old, I got arrested for breaking a window. My little brother was like running back to the house, and he was screaming like a fucking ambulance siren for my dad. What? Patrick's getting arrested. Oh, I just talked to myself. Patrick's getting arrested. And it was hilarious. Yes, my name is Patrick. But yeah, the cop told me, he said that your arm, if it can propel a rock, is considered a firearm. He said slingshot, I think it's called a racket, a high-halai racket. I didn't know what the fuck high-halai was. And he named something else. I can't remember. He said slingshot, highlight, racket. I can't remember. Or my arm. if it could propel a projectile, that it could be considered a firearm. And then my dad showed up, and they told him what I had done, and he said, well, that's impossible. And they said, why? And he said, well, because I just went and got him from his grandparents' house 50 miles away. He's only been here an hour. When did he supposedly break this window? Then they unhandcuffed me, and I went on my way. That was the first time I ever got arrested. I wasn't scared. Yeah, deadly weapon. So deadly. Well, I mean, corrosive, the thing is that, you know, what else are you going to do when you got a 11, 12-year-old there and you're trying to scare the shit out of them? You know, fill their head full of a bunch of bullshit. That's true. Your lawnmower can propel a projectile, and it's not a firearm. Although in that cop's mind, he would probably be like, well, that wasn't an electric lawnmower. Well, even if it was electric, it's still firing, is it not? It's got a spark plug. It's got a gas. You know, it can, you know, it fires, it makes exhaust. When it fires, it spins a blade, which propels the projectile out. So then the intent to aim it a certain way would come into play. Yeah, I agree, Patriot Defense. Complete horse shit. Yeah, my firearms are not arms, but they are guns. Yeah, that's a good one. Anyways, yeah, hey, Betty. Yeah, Abe is a beta. I just don't understand the need to maintain the lie. I don't get it. It don't make no sense to me. But I don't know. I just don't know. What is y'all's conclusion? I think I know what y'all's conclusion is, but I didn't want to assume. Yeah. Yeah, he did, Betty. He wasn't. You know, Voodoo has said before that that he likes the attention, and that, you know, there's almost like at times you could almost hear like a glee in his voice when people are really like going after him, and it's like you can hear the different emotions, I think, like with him. You know, you can hear when he's happy about it. You can hear when he's actually sad about it. You know, but last night he was pissed. He was fucking pissed. I've heard him that mad before. There was one time, I don't remember who it was he was talking to on a panel, but you could tell that he had just woken up. And I do know the night before and the day before he had spent an extensive period of time online. So I doubt very seriously he had gotten any sleep within, you know, however long it was, like 24, 36 hours or whatever. But it sounded like he had just gotten up. And he was very short and curt with whoever it was that he was trying to attack. You could tell he was fucking furious about whatever it was. It's been months and months ago. I can't remember, but he wasn't putting up with any bullshit. He wasn't doing his normal word salad crap or anything like that. So, Abe, we know it's a fucking act, you know, for the most part. But I don't know, man. I mean, I guess if defending those sick individuals and pedophiles is the hill that you really want to fucking die on, just do Lady Di a favor and push her down the hill before she takes an arrow to the knee doing that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have a good one. Later.